How's it going, YouTube? We are back with another month of Power Ranks. Before we get started, I have to ask you guys to leave a like and subscribe. It would really help me out if you do so. Let's start on the right side of the board here. The best last 10 is 8-2 for Milwaukee. Just saying this is all through August the 3rd. Worst last 10 is 3-7 for Minnesota. The highest winning streak is Frisco and Texas at 3, and the highest losing streak is Boston at 4. So a lot of teams are playing like 500 baseball. Nobody's really jumping off of the sheets right now just yet after the deadline, but I expect it to pick up pretty soon. Number 15, a team that was not on the list last month, Seattle. Seattle has been playing some pretty decent baseball, probably better baseball than a lot of people would have expected. They are in competition for a wild card spot, and they cracked the list for the first time this season, I believe. Dropping 3 spots from last month. Sorry, messed that one up. The New York Mets. Even with the addition of Javier Baez, the injury to DeGrom doesn't help, but I still don't think they're that good of a team. I think they're a little bit overrated. I think their division is really, really weak, and I think there is another team in their division that is significantly better than they are. But the record doesn't show it just yet, but I expect it to pick it up, or I expect it to change coming into the towards the end of the season here. Number 13, and moving up 1 spot, the New York Yankees. The Yankees addressed a much-needed left-handed power threat, both in Gallo and in Rizzo. Obviously, those guys, or at least Rizzo has came off to a pretty good start, but what they did not address was pitching. They got Andrew Heaney, but that's more of a patch job than anything. They have Garrett Cole and Jameson Taillon, who have been playing some pretty good baseball this season. Taillon, over the last month, has been a really, really good addition. As I think he won Pitcher of the Month for the American League, so he's been balling out. But I don't think they did enough to really push themselves into a top 10 position. And at number 12, not on the list last month, is Cincinnati. And Cincinnati didn't do too much. They kind of were conservative at the deadline. They got a couple of relievers from the Yankees, but they kept everyone together. They didn't really trade anyone away either, so they kind of left themselves in a little bit of a purgatory spot, considering that they do have a chance to make the wild card team, but they'd have to knock off one of the National League West teams, and that is no easy task for anybody right now. Dropping 3 spots at number 11, Boston. Now, Boston is a good team still. I still think Boston is a good team, but losing 3 games in a row to a divisional opponent, that never bodes well for a potential divisional race. I have them dropping to 11 here. They got some people at the deadline. I just don't know if it's going to be enough to really make it too significant of a change. They should be getting Chris Sale back pretty soon, which would be a huge boost if he's anywhere near as good as he used to be prior to his surgery. He hasn't pitched in a long time in a major league game, so I hope he comes back and he's firing on all cylinders. And not ranked on the list last month, and this one might be a little bit questionable for a lot of you, Atlanta. They're not even first in their division. Yeah, I know they're not first in their division, but I think they are the best team. Even without Acuna, losing Acuna sucks, but they did make some nice additions at the deadline to try to fill that void. Duvall, Soler, Jock, they're doing their best to try and fill that void. Nobody can say that they didn't make any moves. I think that, I think they are the best team in terms of pitching overall, in terms of lineup. I consider them to be the best team in the National League East. And then, moving up 1 spot. My marker is dying on me here. The Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are a really talented team. Chapman, Olsen especially having a great season. They're just kind of stuck behind the Astros, so they're going to end up in a wild card spot, hopefully for them. I think that they can win a wild card game. It just really depends on who they match up with. Probably going to be an American League East team, but how their stars play toward the end of the month, toward the end of the season, is really going to determine how far they go. They did make a big trade in getting Starling Marte. in exchange for Jesus Luzardo, excuse me. But they gave away a bright talent in exchange for a star. So they're not, it's not like they just sat there and did nothing. They did try to make a move, and we'll see how that pays off for them. So at number 8, moving up one spot as well. This marker is dying. Is Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee has the potential to be a really, really dangerous team in the postseason because of their starting rotation. They have Woodruff, who's a Cy Young candidate. Burns, who isn't pitching as good as he was in the beginning of the year, but he's still a very, very good, talented, star right-handed pitcher. And another Cy Young candidate in Freddie Peralta. And that's in a 5-game series. That's dangerous. That's dangerous for anybody. Doesn't matter if you're San Diego, doesn't matter if you're Frisco, if you're the Dodgers, it doesn't matter. Those 3 back to back to back is dangerous for anybody. Dropping 2 spots. Is San Diego. And toward the beginning of the season, I had San Diego not winning 90 games. And a lot of my friends asked me why. And I think we're seeing the reason why. We're seeing that the injuries have started to stack up for them. Tatis is back on the IL. Snell's on the IL. He hasn't been playing very good anyways. Darvish hasn't been playing well lately. They're all starting to not play well at the same time. And this is kind of what I expected. I still think they're a little bit young. They had a really, really rough time at the deadline. They did get Adam Frazier, which is a nice piece, but they just missed out on Max Scherzer. They said Ken Rosenthal announced that they were close, and all of a sudden he's a Dodger. So I'm sure Padre fans are a little bit upset. In fact, I know that they're upset because I've seen it, and sucks to suck, man. Sucks to suck. Padres dropped 2 spots to 7. They should still make the playoffs, but we'll see. A team that stays in the exact same spot as last month, that is the Toronto Blue Jays. That's the one where they're not even first in their division. Why are they so low? I think they're extremely talented. I think they're a really good team, and I think they're really, really dangerous if they get on a run. They did add a starter and Barrios, but they gave up a whole lot to get him. Now you got Ryu, what's his name? Lefty from Arizona. Robbie Ray and Barrios, which is a nice little 1-2-3. Not the best in the league, but talented. And they get on a run and they can be serious players in that division. Number 5, into the top 5 we go. Dropping 1 spot, the Chicago White Sox. They're not playing horrible baseball by any means. It's just the teams that are in front of them are playing better baseball. They did go out and get some relievers in Tepera and Kimbrel as well. So they did make a splash at the deadline, shoring up that bullpen with Liam Hendricks already in there. So they have a lot of studs in that bullpen. That bullpen is really scary. You get 6 innings out of your starter, whether it's Giolito, whether it's Rodon, you know what I mean? Whether it's one of those 2 guys or someone else, Lane, they have a really, really stacked pitching staff, and it's really, really dangerous. Moving up 3 spots. Tampa Bay. That sweep over the Red Sox helps a lot. They didn't do too much at the deadline either, but their roster is playing good baseball. Their pitching is playing good baseball. They add Nelson Cruz, another bat, to add some thunder to their lineup, and they're number 4 right now. They're not first in the East just yet, I don't think. I think Boston still has it, but I think they're it's only a matter of time before Tampa takes over if they haven't already. Number 3, staying in the same spot, San Francisco. Now, San Francisco has been in first for a very, very long time. And it's kind of gotten to a thing where when San Francisco wins a game, the Dodgers and the Padres also lose. Or, sorry, when the San Francisco wins a game, the Dodgers and the Padres also win. When Frisco loses, they all lose. And it's kind of gotten to a weird space of, purgatory where the Dodgers are 3.5 games back, and then they're 2 games back, and then they're 3 games back, and then they're 4 games back, but then they're back to 2. It's just, they just back and forth all year long. But the addition of Scherzer and Trey Turner ultimately boosts the Dodgers up. And you have to think that the Dodgers are inevitable at this point. With that much talent on the team, everybody getting healthy, it's only a matter of the time before the Dodgers take over the division again. And dropping one spot, not because they're playing bad ball, but because of the additions made by another team, the Houston Astros, which I am looking forward to, the series between the Astros and the Dodgers, today and tomorrow. Tomorrow I will probably do a live video experience of Scherzer's debut, which will be extraordinarily fun. I'm looking forward to that, but the Astros are playing some good baseball this season. They're a great team, number 2 in the league in my opinion. At the deadline they added some bullpen guys, which is a much needed piece to their team. They really addressed their needs greatly at the deadline. Nothing too crazy. They added Kendall Graveman, who's a stud, but more depth pieces than anything. They already had Presley's back there, so they just needed to add some depth, which makes the king of the MLB on my power rankings right now LA, the Dodgers. Maybe it's a little biased, maybe it's just facts, but the Dodgers currently have the best team in baseball. 1 through 9, it's absolutely dangerous, and then you have a bench that's going to be absolutely deep. If you're looking at the lineup right now, you have Mookie, then you have Trey Turner, then you have Seager, then you have Turner, then you have Muncy, then you have Pollock, who won Player of the Month. You have Taylor, who's been a beast. Then you have Will Smith, and then you have Scherzer, Buehler, Kershaw. It's in a 3-game series. Those guys are definitely tough to beat. And then on the bench, you have Bellinger, who hasn't been playing this good, but it's still an MVP Gold Glover if you don't want to start him. If not, you have Pollock or Taylor on the bench, who those guys are beasts, with Pujols and all kinds of guys. I wish they would have shored up the bullpen a little bit, but they do have Danny Duffy as well, who's kind of being slept on right now because he's on the IL. But Danny Duffy was an early candidate for Cy Young in the American League. So that this team is really, really good. They're a really good team. There's no excuses other than injuries right now if they don't win a World Series, but we'll see how that goes from there. If everyone gets healthy, I don't know if anyone can beat them. And that's going to do it for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe. Comment what you guys think about the power rankings, anything you agree with, disagree with, who should be on there, who shouldn't be on there, anything down below in the comments. If you guys would like to make a donation to the channel, No Hate Media on Cash App, and I will see you guys next time.